But yeah, let's get started. The topic everyone has been waiting for: uh, Leffen versus ChuDat. Uh, Very big topic. A lot of emotions, to say the least. Both sides going back and forth, fighting each other. Um, so I'll say my opinions on the situation. I will start off saying the situation sucks. Uh, it's never really a good solution to a situation like this. Like, regardless of what you pick, it's gonna be a bad decision. So it's kind of like picking your poison. But I do believe one of them is not as bad as the other option. And if you ask me, I do not think the set should be replayed at all. I also, and before I go to my point there, I also want to say that I will try to clear up some misconceptions, what it seems like, based on how people have talked on Twitter, Reddit, yeah, stuff like that. So I will start off saying that in before someone mentions that Chu wanted to do a second set, ChuDat actually told me, because I talked to him slightly on Facebook, and he told me that he did not want to play a second set. He was forced to do a second set. So throw that argument out of the window. Chu did not want to play a second set. He was basically forced. He was told, like, oh, the set you will have to play, and that's it. Another thing I also want to address in all of this is when people say that players should be able to make decisions about these kind of things. That's a no-no. And I saw a Blur tweet in a good way about this as well. The thing is, if you are in ChuDat's position, or in Leffen's position for that matter, sometimes your actions can be seen as very controversial, and you can get a lot of hate for doing what you are doing. So the players should never ever make the decisions. These kind of decisions should always be made by the TOs. They can make shitty decisions, and I think they did one this weekend. But it's better that a TO makes a shitty decision than that the players potentially get a lot of hate. And it's also more of a conflict of interest for the players, or potentially at least, than it is for the TOs. But anyway, so some of the reasons why I believe this set should not have been replayed is partly that if we compare the situation to Smash 4 at Genesis, which I'm not even sure should have been replayed either, is that the wrong thing that happened here was that Melee was not played with a UCF, basically making, as far as I know, backdashes and shield drops easier, more consistent, whatever you want to call it. So that's like the main things here. But the thing is, the version they played on was the same game we had played for fucking 1.5 decade. So compared to the Smash 4 scenario, this is not nearly as bad. Like, yes, it's still bad. You did expect to play with the UCF version. Sorry, guys, UCF version, because that's apparently how it was supposed to be played out. But still, you get to play the regular version of Melee, and even if it's wrong, I feel like this situation can't be compared to the 0.9 situation in Smash 4, because how many people have even played with 0.9? I know I've never done it in Melee, and I'm pretty sure that applies to most people as well. But playing regular Melee, everyone does that. So the situation is not nearly as bad. And also, if something happens incorrectly, but you both shake hands, fist pump, whatever, I feel like you agreed that this set ended at this moment. That doesn't mean the situation would not be shitty for Leffen if they decided to not replay it, because obviously it would have been shitty for him, because what if? That's always going to be a question. What if? What if I got a chance to play the way it was supposed to be played? But it's also important to notice that for ChuDat, this is also a what if situation. And since ChuDat won the first set, he has basically everything to lose. He won the first set, made a crazy reverse 3-0, and now he has to play a second set. So mentality-wise, it's 10 times easier for Leffen to adapt than it is for ChuDat. Because in this situation, Leffen has everything to win. He was out of the tournament. Like after the fist pump, he was like, well, I lost. That's Chine 2017. It's no comeback, you know? For ChuDat, he was already focusing on his next match. Like, of course, he didn't know his opponent at the time, but he still knew that, oh, I'm going to play either Mewtwo King Ragebox. He might even have been sitting down, warming up for that match. And then all of a sudden, you have to replay your set against Leffen. So for him, it's basically he has everything to lose. It's a huge shift in his mentality. Like, I'm not trying to say it's an easy situation for Leffen either, but I feel like the mentality for ChuDat, or hypothetically it could have been any player, it's so much harder. So they can't even be compared to begin with. And before people say I'm biased, I've actually had two situations that have been like not identical by any means, but I've kind of been on the each side of this. Genesis 1, me and Mewtwo King played a best of 3. I won the set, and then after the set they came up and said it should have been a best of 5. Apparently they changed the rules like 2 days before the tournament, posted it on All Is Brawl. So technically it should have been a best of 5, but pretty much every player, Mewtwo King himself included, we both thought it was going to be a best of 3. We both, I even asked him in person if it's a 2 out of 3. So like sometimes I know I've checked the rule set, and I did check the rule set on Smashboards for that tournament, but just to make sure that my opponent also is aware of it, I asked him sometimes, and he was like, yeah, 2 out of 3. And we played a set, and they tried to force me to not redo the set, but continue from there. And I'm like, both me and Mewtwo King were aware of this is a 2 out of 3. We gave it our all, and then they tried to force me to play the set. And I don't think I told the TOs because my English at the time was extremely bad, but I told the Neolas, if I'm literally forced to continue play this set, I'll drop out. I feel like this is basically robbing me of my chance in Winners Final. Like, of course, my chance to reach Winners Final would still have been there, but my mentality at that moment was so bad. I was so mad. I was so pissed. And yeah. So I can relate to like how it would be for the winner in this scenario. And yeah, personally for me, I don't think I would have been able to do it. And this situation that I'm going to talk about now is not nearly as important for me emotionally. So maybe that made my decision easier. But it was a long time ago. It was in Brawl actually. So this was like back in 2008. Me and Aniolos played a tournament in teams. And shortly after the set is over, it comes to our realization that team attack is off, and no one noticed it. Could be multiple reasons. The metagame was not very good at the time. Brawl was new, and team saves and stuff normally not as important, so no one noticed it. And theoretically, we probably could have been like, team attack was off, we should replay. But at the very least, I feel like it's also like our opponents played this set with the same rules as we had, and it sucks. It sucks. We lost the set, maybe because of the team attack being off, but if I forced my way, or even if not forcing, like even if I got the chance to replay the set, I don't know, it would just feel wrong for me. Like, I know my opponents wouldn't have been most likely mentally as not prepared, but like it's just such a big shift. And me and Aniolas in that set, we would have had a much better chance to win, just because like we have everything to gain. So yeah, as I said, I didn't really care much about Brawl compared to like Melee and stuff, but I've still sort of been on the other side, and the thing is, we can never make sure that mistakes like this doesn't happen. You can't have a 100% success ratio, or theoretically you can, but once in a while, sadly, these mistakes will happen, and it does suck for Leffen in this situation. But I think the results should have stayed the same way. I totally understand that some people won't agree with this, but yeah, as I said, it's basically pick your poison. Pick your poison. But I do believe letting the results stand would have been the better pick, especially since it was regular melee being played. If it would have been an 0.9 situation, like it was in Smash 4, I would have had a bigger understanding if it was a replay, but I'm still not sure that would have been the right call. Yeah, I feel very bad for ChuDat. Me personally, yeah, I don't think I would have been able to do as well as ChuDat did doing the replay, and I feel like he basically got cheated out of a chance to potentially making it very far in the tournament. You guys can quote me on this. If a similar situation to me ever happens, win or lose, I will stick to these words. And if I don't, then how do you say? Fucking expose me for it. If I'm on the winning side, I will claim to not replay, and if I'm forced to, absolutely forced to, I will use DQ myself from the tournament. Fuck this. And if I'm on the losing side, and they try to force us to do a replay, if I have to sit on stage, I will run off the stage 4 times every match and call it like that. Because I personally would never ever want to win when I lost the first time. And some people might say, oh, this is very easy to say, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of people also know that I stick up to my words.